Hello, and welcome to this overnight whiskey peace challenge. I have to get something from underneath this desk. I have two single malt Scotch whiskeys, both at 40% alcohol. This is Trader Joe's Highland single malt double maturation. It's aged in regular, or they say traditional oak barrels, probably ex-bourbon barrels, but it's finished in sherry wine cask, sherry cask. Where are the casks from? Europe, America? I don't know what type of sherry. They don't say. There's no age statement. It's from Hamish Robertson, an independent bottler for the Trader Joe's company. All right. It was $17.99 for this bottle. And I'm making my way through the bottle. Cork. Aluminum cap cover. All right. I really didn't like the other Trader Joe's Scotch whiskeys, so I figured I wouldn't like this one, but this one turned out to be a winner. You know, you never know. But the first four, the 8-year age, the blended 8-year age Speyside, the 10-year age Highland, the Highland rum cask finish, and the Highland bourbon cask finish. The first five, I wasn't too thrilled with them. Okay. Finlaggan, forgot to tell you, Finlaggan Islay single malt Scotch whiskey, the old reserve edition. They're showing an etching of the Finlaggan castle ruins in Scotland. It's just named after an old castle that's not much to look at, kind of like Spanish Fort in New Orleans. You can go to New Orleans and see the remnants of Spanish Fort. But there's not much to look at because the red bricks have been stolen over the years by people in the neighborhood, I would assume. Over the last 250 years, they just wanted to make a patio or whatever. They went over there, figured, well, the Spanish don't need it. They've left Louisiana. We'll take some bricks. So there's not much left. But anyway, probably the same thing with this castle. People taking material from it to use. Okay. Product of Scotland. This is an Islay from the island of Islay. So it's a smoky whiskey. It's I'm not gonna read all. It's from an independent. It's no age statement, but I think it's 6 years. But it's from an independent bottler called the Malt Whiskey, the Vintage Malt Whiskey Company. That is a tight cork. The Vintage Malt Whiskey Company. Now, the Trader Joe's does not have a website for this Highland sherry cask finish. They have a website, but they don't show that. They show some of their products, but they don't show all of their products. Sort of like Aldi. They'll show some stuff, or a lot of stuff is just not listed. I don't know why they do that, but they do. Okay, so I'll show you what they've got for the Finlaggan. Finlaggan Islay single malt old reserve. Now these are both amber. Big breakfast fruitiness, old preserve, more like some old preserves that they're saying, plus nuts and chocolate. What a start. Should have an exclamation mark there. Fat mouth arrival, more chocolate, and peat, like lashings of it. Back to fruit again in the finish, then a chocolate mousse, all interlocked by peat. Brilliant. Well, okay, sure. And here's the Vintage Malt Whiskey Company. They've got Finlaggan 46% alcohol, 58% alcohol. 46. Then they got the different finishes, like what I'm dealing with. They got sherry cask, bourbon cask, rum cask. All right. Now this company has some other lines. They got the Cooper's Choice. That's another whiskey line. All right. They've got the Golden Cut from the Cooper's Choice. Isla Storm, and so forth. So, well, I'm not getting into all of that. But remember, this company does not make any whiskey at all. They simply bottle whiskey or have it acquired. They might have it bottled for them. They just acquire whiskeys from different producers. They're an independent bottler. Here's some photos of it from 4 years ago. That's what the office looks like, because that's what it is, an office. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Let's get, how much was the Finlaggan? Finlaggan, I bought at Trader Joe's the same day as I bought the Trader Joe's. $19.99. $19.99 whiskey. Okay, well, that's what it was. Now, they show an outside shot, you know, like Google takes from a drone. That's it, a building. It looks like a housing project. Lenox Avenue housing project. The projects. St. Andrew's Scottish Episcopal Church on the corner. So there you go. That's it. That's what these independent are. It's just an office. You know, they're not doing any bottling there unless that's a bottling plant down below, behind it. Small bottling facility. I don't really know. Oh, let me go back to dark. You can see they're about the same. The Trader Joe's might be a tad bit darker, more copper, but it's close. This is not going to be a real challenge because they really are not going to taste and smell the same. Go lay down on the rug. I had to put that rug down there because I have two rugs down there, one on top of the other because she was trying to pull up the carpet. Now that's sort of distracted her from that. Okay. This one is full of smoke. Therefore, it is the Finlaggan. Now, this one I noticed did have a little touch of smokiness and some taste challenges, but only a amount. Compared relative to a true Islay, a real smoky is not going to have any. All right, so we know already which is which. This is Finlaggan in my right hand. That's the challenge. I'll check the tag just to, you know, technically be correct, follow the protocol, yes. Okay, so you cannot confuse these two. If you had no experience with whiskey of any type, and the only clue you had was somebody said, well, this type of whiskey is known for its smokiness. This other type is going to have a sherry finish, sherry cask finish, so it's going to have like a wine character. All you'd have to do is smell it, and then you'd say there's the Finlaggan. And you could say, I never had whiskey before. It wouldn't matter. You'd know. All right. But anyway, we'll taste it. I'll taste it for the heck of it. Then we'll move on. Now, tomorrow I plan to do the Benriach, which is a Speyside smoky item, which is a rarity, a smoky Speyside. They don't make that one anymore, the Curiositas, but they made it for a few years. They still have the company, the Benriach. I think they're owned by Brown Forman these days. I don't really see their products around here. I just found a bottle at or my friend David found a bottle at some store. Can't remember which, and it was like $9.99. And then we did research, and the bottle, regular bottle, was like $60. So $60 bottle for $9.99. Oh, I do remember now. But he said, don't say it, because every time you say it, people go to that store and they take everything, and we don't get any of it. I said, we don't need all of it. All right. I don't need to buy any liquor anyway. I got a whole treasure trove of it unopened here. That is so inky and smoky and briny. Brine. Smoke. That's what it is. It's like the whole product is infused with smoke. Just smoke from top to bottom throughout. Now, if you say to me, oh, I can't stand smokiness in anything, well, don't ever buy this. Avoid it. But you say, I'm into smoke. I love smoky whiskeys. Buy it. $19.99. Well, that was at the time of purchase 4 years ago. I don't know what it is now. Be 4 years ago on April 30th. Whether they even carry it anymore over at Trader Joe's, I don't know. Might find it at a different store. I bet it won't be $19.99. What are you doing? This one just has a winey finish. Wine makes sense. Sherry. Sherry's an unusual flavor. It's hard to describe sherry to someone who's never had it. I guess it's sort of like raisins, kind of. It's but there's different type of sherry. So, but it gives it an unusual finish. So they have a Chivas Regal Extra 13-year age sherry cask finish. That's a different type of thing. Then they do a rye cask finish. That's a different type of thing. You know, they do that. They're taking the same thing and they putting it in, finish it in different type of barrels to give it more, to give them more variety. But they're really not changing that much. Just the finish that changes. Kind of like Taco Bell. They take the same ingredients, they just flip them all around and make it like seem like they got this huge portfolio of stuff. All right. True winner. This is personal preference. My personal preference is that the Finlaggan is much nicer. But why wouldn't I say that? I prefer smoky products. And the body's light. The finish is clean and dry, and it's easy going. It's not a harsh product in any way. So I'm saying it's the winner, you know. No, I mean, but the Trader Joe's Highland is good. It's good. I'll go with an A on that one, 93. Can't say that for the other ones I've got from Trader Joe's. Their brand, some of their brands. They're not all from the same supplier. Hamish Robertson does some of them. There was another independent bottler that did the other single malts, and then I think the blended was from a third company. I can't remember. Alexander Murray, that's who did the other ones. They're pretty famous. 95 on the Finlaggan. Maybe 94, but it's close to 94, 95. Mid 90s, good solid stuff. I always look forward to it. I mean, it just take little sips, and then the next year I take another few sips. Then the next year, you know, so it's taken years, and it's been 4 years. 4 years, and I'm still dealing with 40% of the bottle, 35, 40% of the bottle. And it's going to be a long time before I finish it, because just like, and then it goes by, and then about once a year. So I've got blended scotch coming next, but I still have to do 2 more single malts, the Benriach Curiositas and the the Ardbeg aged 10 years, the champ. Then it's single malt Scotch. Then I've got cognac brandy. That's going to take weeks or at least a week. Rum, can't remember if it's silver or gold. Can't remember which one comes next, silver or gold, but it doesn't matter. Tequila, once again, don't remember if it's silver or gold. Doesn't much matter. Then I got to do mezcal. Then it's back to rye whiskey. Then bourbon. Then American blended whiskey. Then back to bourbon because I got to double up on bourbon if I ever expect to finish it in a lifetime. This lifetime. Then after bourbon, the second go round of bourbon, then it's Canadian blended whiskey, then Irish blended whiskey, then single malt Scotch. So that's how long it's going to take. That's why we're talking about probably 2027 till we get back into this. So let me take a last sip for this year. I'd be totally shocked if I got back to this before the end of this year. I wouldn't even imagine it could happen because look at all I just talked about. Oh man. Can't wait to try it already. All right. Familionaire says, I just don't understand how there supposedly is any difference in the bourbon whiskey bottling since they are considered by regulations compared to objectively wider variety of Scotch whiskey. Oh, constricted by it. I'm sorry. It's a good question. I don't find bourbons so that different one from another. Honestly, I don't see why people run them down or they be chasing them down like, oh, I got to wait in line for 30 minutes to get this $85 bourbon. Man, it tastes like corn and charred oak. Well, you know, they all taste like corn and charred oak because that's what they're made from. Mostly corn and it has to be new charred oak. Now, obviously, some of them are shabby because they just age like minimum, you know, might be aged 2 years straight bourbon. It just be basic. But even the basic ones not that different from the elaborate ones, in my opinion. Now you say, oh, you didn't try catanomic, you know, barrel strength. There was only one batch made and 20 whatever. I don't know, but I never tried it, but I bet I would understand the flavor. But anyway, but I like to do bourbon, you know, I like to do the taste challenges. No knock against that. I got more bourbon than anything else, I think. All right. Well, y'all take care. And but yeah, I get what you're saying, definitely. All right, well, y'all take care and see y'all